All right, so what I want to talk about is Star Wars: The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi. And so in The Force Awakens, Kylo Ren's character, about maybe a couple months after that movie came out, this theory came up online where basically he's kind of like an undercover cop, right? And he's trying to convince Snoke that he's evil, but Snoke doesn't trust him. I mean, that's the whole thing. Where Snoke tells him that he's still got good in him, right? But he's got to turn totally evil before he's accepted. So the interesting thing is, the theory, of course, was that Kylo Ren is kind of being like this undercover cop, where he's trying to convince Snoke that he deserves to be there and that he is truly evil. And at certain points in the movie, of course, Kylo Ren does things that are evil. And there's scenes though, like when he's in his room, for instance, and he's just really upset and he's like throwing, he's like wrecking things and smashing things. And one of the interesting things is that unlike Darth Vader, he doesn't kill people. Like when there's the other, the stormtroopers there and that kind of thing, he doesn't kill them. Um, and the interesting thing though is at one point he's asking for strength to like be evil, like which is crazy. Being evil is easy. Doing the right thing is hard. So like if I remember, I used to work somewhere and someone had access to the money room where the money went at the end of each night, and he wound up stealing money once, and then he got caught. And the thing is that it's a lot easier to do the wrong thing than it is to do the right thing, right? You need willpower. You need like your conscience to give you willpower and strength to not do something bad, right? Doing the bad thing is easy. Doing the good thing is hard. So in The Force Awakens, Kylo Ren's character, it doesn't make sense. He's trying to be evil, and he's having trouble trying to be evil. Okay, which lends total credibility to the whole undercover cop idea. The idea is that he's just trying to be evil. Like everyone's seen like the movies where movies and television shows where the policeman goes undercover and they're trying to convince like the drug the kingpin of the drug thing, or who whatever, the bad guy, trying to convince the bad guy that he's bad. And so then all of a sudden, like, the guy in charge will hand the cop a gun or something and be like, if you're really with us, kill this guy or whatever, and then that puts him on the spot. Is he going to kill this person just to prove that he's not a cop, right? Anyway, the point is, so that's the ultimate like Han Solo moment, where the concept is that he's doing this to prove to Snoke that he's evil, right? And also the scene at the end of the film with Kylo Ren and Rey, it also means if he's really undercover cop, he was just testing her in that scene to see if she could help him in the future defeat Snoke and defeat the First Order. So basically, my attitude is, it's not a prediction because I have no idea what they're going to do, but what I'm saying is that if Kylo Ren is really trying to be a real bad guy, it really means that his character in Force Awakens was very poorly written. Because if he's an undercover cop, like the theory says, that means his character in The Force Awakens was written perfectly. I mean, absolutely perfectly. Because that would be eating away at him, right? You know what I mean? Mentally, that would be like driving him crazy, trying to pretend to be a bad guy, right? And try to do all these horrible things just to get near the leader. So if that's the case, everything in Force Awakens is very well written, right, and very intelligent. Even the part where he has Vader's melted helmet and he's saying he wants to finish what Vader started. Well, I mean, what Vader started was he kills the Emperor to overthrow the Empire, which means that if he's really trying to finish what Vader started, he's trying to defeat the New Order, right? Or sorry, the First Order. He's trying to defeat them. He's not trying to become a bad guy. That's not what Vader's eventual fate was. So even that line in the film indicates that maybe he's trying to complete what Vader did, but in a good way, a positive way, to defeat the bad guys, right? So that all adds up. I mean, all of that adds up. Whether or not they're going to do that in the movies, I have no idea. But I'm just saying it makes sense. And Rey's character, on the other hand, who is like full of rage for most of The Force Awakens, is totally like a Sith. I mean, she's totally like a bad guy. The funny thing about Rey is when you look at who she could be related to, because everyone's like, oh, who's she related to? As far as the older the Star Wars characters from the previous movies, the best thing would be if she's related to absolutely no one, because these movies are the future, not the past. I mean, the prequels were all about the origins of the characters that we knew. This is the future, so the best thing would be if she's related to no one. The second best thing would be if she's related to Palpatine, and she turns into a Sith. She's a villain because she has the whole attitude and the emotions of the bad guys. I mean, rage is the opposite of Jedi. Okay? The third thing, if they're not going to go in that direction and she's going to be a good guy, then obviously Obi-Wan Kenobi would be the person that she would be related to. I mean, that would be the perfect person, especially considering her approaching Luke at the end of The Force Awakens, where Luke looks like Obi-Wan and she looks like Luke. So it's kind of a little reversal there. And the worst person she could be related to would be Luke, because that would just be horrible. I mean, horribly obvious. And having a secret child, just doing more repetitive storylines from the previous films, it would just be dreadfully horrible. So that's basically not predictions, but just what should happen. And okay, so she could be related to Obi-Wan, and Kylo Ren could still be undercover cop, and they could team up, later to overthrow the First Order. And that's basically what I have to say about Star Wars. And this is Donald Hanson for You Don't Know Comics.